Skilla. Enhancing Careers. Chapter 13. Unit Load Devices, ULD. Loading of cargo into the aircraft sometimes becomes very tricky, especially when the cargo is in loose pieces. Since there is no standardization of the cargo to be sent in terms of its size, volume or weight, handling of cargo becomes inefficient. Therefore, to bring in orderliness in handling and improve the efficiency in handling greater volume of cargo, it has become necessary to group the cargo into larger standard units such as pallets and containers. These standard units are called as unit load devices, ULDs, and they are considered to be removable parts of the aircraft structure and therefore have to be in perfect operational condition at all times. ULDs allow a large quantity of cargo to be bundled into a single unit. Since this leads to fewer units to load, it saves ground crews time and effort and helps prevent delayed flights. Each ULD has its own packing list or manifest so that its contents can be tracked. ULDs come in three forms: pallets, igloos, and containers. ULD pallets are rugged sheets of aluminium with rims designed to lock onto cargo net lugs. An igloo is an open front, bottomless, rigid shell made of fiberglass, metal, or other suitable material. ULD containers, also known as cans and pods, are closed containers made of aluminium or combination of aluminium, frame, and Lexan walls, which, depending on the nature of the goods to be transported, may have built-in refrigeration units. Examples of common ULDs and their specifics are listed below. The ULDs are designed in such a way that they fit exactly into aircraft structure, can be handled by loading/unloading equipment and fit perfectly on the aircraft floor, restraining system. To facilitate the handling of ULDs, the holds or deck floors of the aircraft are equipped with suitable roller trays and restraint systems. An aircraft unit load devices, ULD, interfaces directly with aircraft loading and restraint systems. Therefore, ULDs are termed as aircraft units. Some types are designed to meet all restraint requirements without the use of supplementary equipment, providing they are loaded in accordance with the specific aircraft load and balance manual. Such ULDs, which are designed and manufactured to very exacting standards, becomes a component part of the aircraft. The image shows the different ULD types. The unit load device can be either one complete structural unit such as lower deck cargo container, structured igloo assembly, or main deck cargo container, or a combination of components such as aircraft pallet and net, aircraft pallet, net, and non-structural igloo. A non-aircraft ULD is an unit which does not interface with the aircraft's restraint system. It consists in a single packaging or an overpack grouping a number of smaller individual packaging. Aircraft pallets. An aircraft pallet is a platform with a flat undersurface, built to standard aircraft requirements on which goods are assembled and secured by nets or igloos and subsequently locked into the aircraft, to achieve rapid loading and unloading on compatible aircraft conveying and restraint systems. Most common pallets are of standard size as shown in the adjacent table. Pallets of these sizes are usually not more than 1 inch thick and have seat tracks around the edges to secure the net. The nets may be either rope or strap constructions, using diamond or square mesh designs. Igloos. A non-structural igloo is an open front, bottomless, rigid shell made of fiberglass, metal, or other suitable material. The slop conforms to the contours of the cargo aircraft envelope, i.e. the interior cabin cross-section. It covers the maximum usable area of an aircraft pallet to which it is secured. This shell is used in combination with an aircraft pallet and net assembly. When shell is structurally attached to the pallet to form a single unit, stressed to restrain cargo without the use of nets, it is called a structural igloo. Containers. Containers are similar to structural igloos, and they can be divided into following categories. A. Intermodal containers. Intermodal containers are primarily intended for transport by air and interchange with surface transport modes like road, rail, or sea. These containers are either 20 feet long or 40 feet long with a width and height of 8 feet. Intermodal containers can be loaded on the main deck of wide-body freighter or combi aircraft only. B. Main deck containers. These containers can be accommodated on the main deck of freighter and combi aircrafts only. The height of these containers is of 163 cms and above. See lower deck containers. Lower deck containers can be loaded in the lower deck ULD compartments of the wide-body aircrafts only. Full-size lower deck containers will use the entire width of the ULD compartment, whereas two half-size containers can be loaded side by side. The height of these containers must not exceed 163 centimeters. Aircraft ULDs are of two categories, viz. Certified ULDs and non-certified ULDs. Certified ULDs. A certified ULD is an aircraft unit load device for which certification has been granted to the ULD manufacturer by the appropriate governmental airworthiness authorities. A certified ULD will meet the safety requirements for the aircraft in which it is to be carried and must be maintained in a fully airworthy condition throughout its service life. Certified ULD may be regarded as removable aircraft holds, structurally capable of fully restraining their load and or providing adequate protection to the aircraft systems and structure. Non-certified ULDs. A non-certified ULD is an aircraft unit load device that has not received airworthiness certification by the appropriate authorities. Most non-certified ULDs may not be considered as removable aircraft holds because they do not meet the structural capabilities of the aircraft, but do meet all the ground handling environments. Carriage of non-certified ULDs is only allowed on certain aircraft types, in certain cargo compartments. It is prohibited on the main deck of freighter and combi aircrafts. When allowed in a lower deck cargo compartment, the ceiling and walls of the holds in which the ULDs are carried have been fully strengthened to restrain both container and load. Identification for ULDs. For administrative purposes, each ULD is identified by an IATA code consisting of 0 digits, alphabetic or numeric, such as PAP 5001 FM. Each digit or group of digits refer to a particular characteristic of the ULD, as follows. A. Base dimensions. By definition, aircraft ULDs are designed to interface directly with the restraint system in the aircraft. Therefore, there has to be close relationship between ULD's base dimensions and the aircraft restraint systems in which they are designed to fit. The prime dimensional description of an aircraft ULD is therefore its base dimensions. Many ULDs are interchangeable between different aircraft and different restraint systems. Coding for base dimensions is shown in table. B. Contours and compatibility. This alphabetic digit indicates the contours, curved to fit in planes, of the ULD and / or whether it is compatible with the restraint system of the various types of aircraft. Maximum aircraft contours have been developed for each type of ULD carrying aircraft currently in operation. These loading contours determine the pattern of the built-up pallet loads or the igloo contours, according to the flexibility desired in interchanging between different types of aircraft. The individual aircraft unit load devices will be coded and marked according to the variety of aircraft in which they can be carried. The contours and the assigned codes are shown in the IATA ULD Technical Manual. C. Serial number. Serial numbers are 4 numeric digits and are assigned by the owner. D. Owner registrant. The owner code is composed of 2 alphanumeric characters. Most of the owners are airlines. The IATA identification code is shown on the outside of each ULD, together with maximum possible gross weight, MGW, and the tare weight of the ULD. Tare weight of the ULD is the weight of the ULD when it is empty. Example of identification: AKN 4567 JLMGW 1508 kilograms 3500 pounds, TARE 120 kilograms 265 pounds. Some of the prefixes on the ULDs are as follows. ULD capacity. Aircraft loads can consist of containers, pallets, or a mix of ULD types, depending on requirements. Some aircrafts are configured for all container or all pallet configurations. In some aircraft, the 2 types must be mixed as some compartments take only specific ULDs. Container capacity of an aircraft is measured in positions. Each half-width container, LD1/LD2/LD3, in the aircraft it was designed for occupies one position. Typically, each row in a cargo compartment consists of 2 positions. Therefore, a full-width container, LD6/LD8/LD11, will take 2 positions. An LD6 or an LD11 can occupy the space of 2 LD3s. An LD8 takes the space of 2 LD2s. Aircraft pallet capacity is measured by how many PMC type LD7s, 96 inches by 125 inches, can be stored. These pallets occupy approximately 3 LD3 positions. It occupies 2 positions of one row and half of the 2 positions of the following row, or 4 LD2 positions. PMCs can only be loaded in cargo compartments with large doors designed to accept them. Small door compartments are container only. There are several common types of contoured ULDs that are contoured, curved to fit in the plane, to provide as much cargo volume as possible. Initially, ULD contouring was simply a triangle removed from one or 2 corners of the profile of the ULD, such as the common LD3 and LD6. Main deck ULDs use curves, for the contoured shape, to truly maximize cargo volume. Upper deck ULDs are just like lower deck ULDs that are either the full width of the plane with 2 corners of the profile removed, lower deck LD6 lower, and upper deck AYY, or that container is cut in half, down the center line of the plane, lower deck LD3 and upper deck AAX. Main deck ULDs and pallets are not only taller than lower deck ULDs, they are frequently 2 or 4 times longer. They are usually organized like an LD6, using the width of the plane and missing 2 profile corners, or 2 very long LD3s, stored in parallel to use the plane's width and each missing 1 profile corner, but often twice or 4 times as long from plane's nose to tail. Many air cargo companies use main deck ULDs that have both features called dual profile, so that on small planes such as the Boeing 727, they are stored widthwise and have 2 corners contoured, and on the bigger Boeing 767, they can be rotated 90 degrees and shipped in parallel like LD3s, so that only 1 corner is contoured when being used like an LD3. This greatly simplifies transportation of cargo containers at slight cost of cargo volume. Aircraft ULDs may be loaned to shippers and agents for loading purposes provided they can prove that they are equipped and capable to handle them in accordance with the aircraft load and balance manuals. ULD limitations. All restrictions on bulk cargo compartments also apply to unitized loads. All ULDs have structural limitations, which determine the maximum acceptable weight. The floor load limitations of the aircraft may limit the maximum gross weight of the ULD. Here is a table showing maximum gross weight, MGW, including the tare weight for some pallets and containers. Weight limitations. Maximum gross weight, MOW, per container, inscribed on the container specification plate, must not be exceeded. However, all carriers have their own limitations regarding maximum loads per pallet/container based on normal loading possibilities and as such, are considerably lower than the weights shown above. If these carrier weights per pallet/container are exceeded, then acceptance must be coordinated in advance with the carriers concerned. The maximum allowed height in the lower deck ULD compartments of most wide-body aircraft is of 163 centimeters, 64 inches. Volume limitations. To obtain the approximate loadable volume of a container, the internal volume of the container must be reduced by 10%. While the volume restrictions of a full enclosed container are quite evident, utmost care must be taken while building up of pallets. The base will fit several types of aircraft, but the load must be contoured to fit the aircraft fuselage. Maximum aircraft contours have been developed for each type of ULD carrying aircraft. The shape of the specified aircraft contours shows the available space of the cabin cross-section. These contours determine the patterns of the built-up pallets loads, or the igloo contours, according to flexibility desired in the interchanging between different types of aircraft. In a pallet built-up area, a template can be used as a loading gauge to ensure that the load does not exceed the permissible dimensions and will fit into the particular aircraft. The size of pallets, and the types of containers, which can be accommodated on a particular aircraft depend not only on the fuselage contour, but also on the size and location of the cargo door. The table shows the unit load device's limitations. Floor bearing. Maximum loading densities for the floor of containers must not be exceeded. Similarly, the floor loading limitations of pallets and bases of containers vary considerably depending on the type of equipment being used. When the established maximum floor loading limits is exceeded, the items of cargo concerned must be loaded onto spreaders like wooden boards to distribute the weight over a greater area of the pallet or container floor. Commodity restrictions. Although cargo to be shipped meet all the norms on limitations as mentioned above, shipments of some commodities are not acceptable for carriage within a container. ULDs which are packed by shippers or forwarders must not contain any of the following items such as dangerous goods, live animals, valuable cargo, or human remains. For these types of shipments, there are special regulations which need to be followed while accepting the cargo. Physical acceptance of ULD. The factors restricting the acceptance of bulk cargo or having an impact on its routing also apply in the case of ULD. Furthermore, consideration has to be given to the choice of the correct unit prior to build-up. It is important to choose an ULD which is acceptable to all carriers involved in transporting the particular consignments. The table representing the interchangeability of ULD among current aircraft types is available in TACT Rules, Section 8.2. While physically accepting the ULD, it is to be noted that there may be some additional carrier restrictions, and that the contour of pallets must correspond to the shape restriction of the aircraft used on the routing. Also, maximum gross weight, MGW, of ULDs may be different from one carrier to other.